And we are live. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Dillard. I know no one's in here right now, but I assume people will start popping in once I actually find the stream and post it on Twitter. But I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to do it earlier after the Yankee game, like immediately after. But actually, instead, I was actually too busy watching the rest of the league, to be honest with you, just because I love baseball and I like keeping up with every other team. Where do I go to make sure that I think this is it. I'm trying to figure out. I'm still getting like kind of used to this whole YouTube streaming thing. So I don't know exactly like where the stream URL is, whatever, where you can basically like, I don't know, like have me like click this link and then be able to post it like Twitter or Instagram or wherever. It doesn't really matter, just to make sure I can be able to get the video and promote myself and promote it. So a lot more people can see it, obviously. But I can actually see it here, I think. Wait, can I not click on it? It's not letting me click on it, guys. I don't know why. I don't know why there's like such an issue with doing this. I really don't know. I really actually do not know why this won't. Maybe edit? I don't know. I'm so lost right now. I'm so lost. They make it so difficult for you to like do anything on YouTube, like for streaming. Like they make it so difficult. Like if I went to like Twitch or something, even though I'm not, I mean, I game a lot, but I don't stream like MLB The Show or something like that. It would be so much easier, but they make it so difficult. Because if I was doing this from Streamlabs with my co-host, I'd be able to just click this little button and it would send me to the live like URL of where I'm streaming at. But for some reason, YouTube doesn't do that. And I don't know if it's maybe because I'm dumb, I'm just not looking hard enough, or if there's actually maybe a section, maybe the last hour. Okay. There we go. Okay, I figured it out. Sorry, I'm like really, really dumb sometimes, so just ignore me. But I do want to talk about a lot of baseball content, but I did want to promote it real quick and let people on Twitter see it. If they want to come and ask questions, definitely ask me some questions. It doesn't even have to be Yankee stuff. Like it could be anything. If it's Diamondbacks, Padres, that game was going. I just finished that one before I started the stream. Padres got beat because Kirby Yates. I don't know what happened to Kirby Yates, but basically the point is you can ask me anything and I will be down 110% to answer questions. But on the flip side, I do want to talk about the Yankees mostly, obviously. Like that's not even up for debate. That's the whole point of the stream. I wanted to talk about the Yankees and the whole series in general. So from today, I will say that I was about to say Strasburg. I don't know why Strasburg is out for an injury for I don't know how long actually, and that's something I will talk about later is the injuries because there's been a lot of injuries lately with Gleyber, Strasburg. I know Marcus has been out for a while. Thor's out, Sales out, Verlander that is huge. That just came out of nowhere. But I will talk about that in a little bit. Hey Alex, thank you for popping in, man. It means a lot to me. I do want to talk about the game though, and I will start off and say. Jesus, like, oh my Lord, Gleyber Torres coming out swinging. And this is a big thing. I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people the day before were all really upset because, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, the Yankees did not play well at all. They just didn't have it. Like the offense wasn't there. As much as I love Paxton, he's my favorite player. I was so hyped to have him, and I was hoping he'd go like 5-6 innings, only allow 2-3 earned runs. I mean, that's pretty much what I was expecting of him. That wasn't necessarily the case. I go back and basically look through just like the score chart, the scorecard, and basically go through each individual inning and each individual stat. I mean, we got beat 9-2. I was actually at work, thankfully, or it would have been a lot more painful of an experience. But I mean, James Paxton was out of there by the first inning. That's not good. Or not the first inning, sorry, second inning. He only pitched one inning. That's what I meant. But, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. Michael King, I mean, I get the reason why they optioned Montgomery down, but like Montgomery is just he's got so much more potential than Michael King. Not saying that he doesn't have potential, but I don't know. Michael King definitely didn't look sharp. Holder, I mean, I guess Holder looked okay. I don't know what you guys saw because during the point of the time where Holder came out and then Hale came out and then Heller came out, I was busy, having dishes in my hand because I work at a fancy seafood restaurant because the game was actually on I was able to catch like quick glimpses of it here and there. But overall, the game, other than Stanton's look good. I mean, I know Stanton didn't look good today. God, I'm stuttering bad. I know Stanton didn't look good today, but he did look good the first 2 days, especially the first day. I mean, you can't complain about a guy going out there collecting 3 RBIs, 1 home run, booming one to literally planet Earth. That was like outside the Andromeda Galaxy against Max Scherzer. I mean, come on. Max Scherzer is like, I'm pretty sure according to Fangraphs, I could be wrong about this, but if I'm not mistaken, in the last decade from 2010 to 2019, Scherzer was the 3rd most dominant pitcher. And I'm pretty sure from, I think, 2016 to 19, if I'm correct on that, he's been the best pitcher in like the last 4 or 5 years or so. So that's nothing to sniff about. Like that's good. Stanton looks good. And we all knew Stanton was going to like destroy, because where was he before for the last, 6, 7 years or so before he went to New York? Well, he's with the Marlins. So he already has that experience of hitting in major league ballparks in the National League East. So he's already used the Braves. He's already used the Nationals, Marlins, Phillies, and Mets. So I definitely have a lot of and I think that's the one benefit. That's the one thing that's going to benefit the Yankees with Stanton. The fact that we're only going to be playing obviously AL East because they're in our division. That is the division that we're in. But the NL East too, that's going to be the one positive out of that is Stanton. Stanton, he's already has all that experience in the NL East. And National Park happens to be one of his favorite parks to hit home runs in. And he's just outstanding. And he knows how to hit good guys like, Strasburg or Scherzer. So I'm very confident in him. Like I said, he didn't pitch. He didn't play that well tonight, but he played really well the first 2 games. And that's all I can ask. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about too is the rant. Now, I kind of wanted to go on a mini rant because there are a lot of people that are notorious for freaking out over 1 or 2 games, especially last night was one of those circumstances where people were just freaking out left and right, weren't taking a chill pill, weren't, chilling out, relieve your anxiety, go outside, chill out. It's not going to be the end of the world. But I don't know why, but there were certain people, and I won't name names, obviously, but they had the audacity to come at Gleyber Torres. Now, I know Gleyber Torres outside of, today didn't have a hit, but I'm trying to find the specific tweet that I had, and this was actually the day that all this was going on, like after last night's game, because everybody was in like a complete nuclear meltdown last night because the Yankees lost 1 game. Okay, whoop-de-doo. They lost 1 game. They played bad baseball. It happens. You're not going to win 60 games. You're not going to win every single game this season. That's impossible. There's no point of using your energy and getting yourself worked up over it. That's dumb. It's pointless. Doesn't make any sense. But I'm trying to find the tweet because I had it last night. I was like on a big rant. There's some people that came in my DMs. They were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm perfectly fine. I'm just like kind of ranting and blowing a bit of steam out." And the harder thing for me to find these tweets is I post so many videos of every other game that sometimes it gets lost in the mix. But it's somewhere here. It's somewhere here. Good Lord, I cannot find this, people. I promise this tweet is here. It is here. Because it was like right after I learned about Gleyber. There it is. So yesterday I said something about Gleyber Torres had a 143 OPS in the last 2 games. It's really bad. Very bad, yes. But I said, am I worried? No. Why? Because he's projected to be one of the best hitters in the league. Why would I be throwing a temper tantrum over 2 games? I mean, I get it. The games mean more, but you have to think this whole virus and all of that has been really like – I want to think that it's been messing with the groove of a lot of players because a lot of players, like especially Scherzer just didn't look sharp that first night. Like he just wasn't hitting his spots like he used to. So why? I don't know. That could be just a Scherzer thing. That could be him. Also, Ohtani. Ohtani couldn't even get out of the first inning earlier today. He gave up, I think, 4 earned runs? Or no, 5 earned runs because the Athletics scored 5 runs in the first inning. So I don't know if it's just like jitters, but this whole virus has just kind of been making this whole season a little weird. But my whole point was like the whole Gleyber Torres thing. People were freaking out saying, "Oh, I'm worried about this kid. Is he washed?" And I'm like, why are we already talking about him being washed? Come on, guys. How old is he? 23? The season just started 2 games, 143 OPS. Sure. Yeah. He had 2 bad games. So be it. What did he do today? Let me bring up the scorecard and tell you what exactly he did today. So, I mean, 4 at bats, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 RBIs. I mean, where was all that energy? Where's all that energy now? Because I don't hear those people saying the same thing now. They were pretty quiet today. And that's the point. It's like in a 60-game season, 2 games isn't the end of the world. If we look at Yelich, this is a prime example. Yelich is probably Acuna for that matter too. Like these good top players that everybody expects to do good aren't doing that great. Like right now, outside of that 1 home run that Yelich hit yesterday, he has a 2 WRC plus, a 162 WOBA, a 308 slugging, a .077 average. It's like, yeah, you can't expect these guys to just be like superhero gods just immediately right off the bat. Some people, it takes a while. And I'm actually curious. I think Bellinger's another one where it's like, he won MVP last year and he's a elite level player, but is he doing that? I mean, like a 59 WRC plus, 234 WOBA, 154 average. And then like, let's check Acuna because I'm just going to keep going through this list. Like really solid, top-notch guys that we all are excited. He has a negative 57 WRC plus right now. And that's my point. It's like these good guys in this league are struggling right now. But it's literally been 2 games. Now it's been 3 games for a lot of these people. I mean, for heaven's sakes, the Orioles, the Marlins, and the Tigers are all 2-1 right now. Like, respectively, depending on how you look at it, they're leading their divisions. Or at least they're tied for leading their divisions. So, now the Rays won. I know the Rays won that walk-off, but the Orioles are still tied with the Yankees and Rays for first. The Tigers are tied for the Twins and Indians for first in the AL Central. And then the Marlins are literally first in their division, 2-1. By the way, the Marlins look a lot better than what people give them credit for, but that's another story in itself. But the whole point is it's literally so pointless to get worked up over one player having a bad game for 2 or 3 games. And, there's also the people who are saying, Stanton, this is a fluke. And I'm like, it's 1 game, people. Are you kidding me? So, if Babe Ruth came back, if there was a clone of Babe Ruth and he came back to life with the same kind of attributes that he had back in the 20s and 30s, he's the greatest baseball player that ever lived, would you suddenly crucify the man if he had an 0-for-4 day that he dropped a golden sombrero, 4 strikeouts? Like, is that kind of where we're going here? I know Babe Ruth and Gleyber Torres are, that's not even comparable. No offense to Gleyber Torres, but that's my whole point. It's like there's several players you can name off that are struggling. But the thing is, do I think Yelich is going to come out swinging? He's going to be one of the better players in the league? Hell yes, I do. Bellinger? Hell yes. Acuna? I don't think Acuna will be as good as Bellinger and Yelich, but I definitely think Acuna is better than what he's playing right now at his level. You gotta give it time. This is a 60-game season. I mean, I know it's not a 162-game season. I think each win or something is like 3.5 more, like 3.5 wins, basically, if I'm not mistaken, something like that along that line. So games definitely count more, but nobody is winning 60 games. Nobody is going 4-for-4 every night. Like it doesn't matter. That's just not realistic. That's not realistic expectations when we're talking about baseball. It doesn't make any sense. It makes 0 sense. So people, please calm down, chill out, take a chill pill. Gleyber's fine. He showed he's fine. Giancarlo Stanton is unbelievable. He's going to be fine. Judge is fine. People are also freaking out about Judge, and they forget Judge is – I will say Judge is a top 5 player, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt if you at least say Judge is a top 10 player. I will at least give you that. But I think he's a top 5 player in the league. But anyways, that's pretty much my rant. So overall, the Yankees played really well. 2-1. You really can't ask much more than that. Especially today, Corbin was unstoppable. That slider, he's making everybody look silly. Absolutely silly. Especially that one plate appearance that Mike Togman had. He looked completely lost. He made him look like he was like a minor league player, like in like Double-A with Trenton Thunder or something like that. Like Mike Togman just couldn't get anything going. And that's really unfortunate because I actually just tweeted yesterday. I was like, we need Mike Togman in the lineup. I love Brett Gardner, but Mike Togman needs to be the guy who starts. He is on the same caliber level in terms of defense because they both have elite level defense. I mean, their ultimate zone ratings are both outstanding. They both save runs left and right. They both have a lot of range. But how old is Brett Gardner? I know a lot of people say I want the lefty bat in the lineup, but well, obviously Mike Tauchman is, but that would probably be more for like an argument like Luke Voit and Mike Ford instead of Mike Tauchman and Brett Gardner, which I get it, kind of why people want the lefty in the lineup. But let's be honest, Voit is definitely better than Ford, and I love Ford too. Like I'm all about. That's why I like Paxton. I'm all about the guys that are the more underrated players. Those are usually the guys that I gravitate to more. The guys that don't receive a chance. That's why I also like Clint Frazier. Yeah, his defense is atrocious, but he's got quick bat. His bat speed. Is quick. His bat speed is super quick. Like, I love Clint Frazier specifically because he's got good bat speed. Yeah, he can't play the field, but that's why you can occasionally have him as DH, or he just needs to learn how to play the field and not be like a JD Martinez or something like that who cannot play the field. It's like almost embarrassing trying to watch them play the field, and that's why they're a primary DH. But one of the only players that I can think of in terms of bat speed, obviously he's on a whole nother level than Clint, but it's the potential that counts. And his bat speed is very, very similar to Cody Bellinger's. It's just so lightning quick, and he can get to pitches like no other player. Obviously he's not the best hitter in the league, and he's not on Bellinger's level, of course not. But that lightning speed for like his bat speed, like that shows there's a lot of potential in that. There's a lot to like about Clint Frazier in a sense of that. If you talk about defense, I get it. I'm not going to try and argue with it because his defense is bad. There's no beating around the bush with that. But there's that. And then Mike Tauchman, he needs to play more than Gardner. I mean, Gardner's getting to the end of his ropes, and we need to let some of these younger guys have a chance for sure. And Mike Tauchman is going to be one of those guys. And we know what he did last year. His defense is incredible. It's impeccable. I love his defense. He's a fun guy to watch. He gets you motivated, and it seems like every time, even if it's like not the biggest hit in the world, but it's like somewhat of a important hit, he is always amping up the entire dugout. Like, he's just a good guy to have in the clubhouse, playing in a roster. I'm not saying like an everyday type of guy, but he needs to be close to every day. I'd rather have Tauchman in the lineup over Gardner any day of the week. As much as I love Gardner, as much as I love the Gardy party, tweets and emojis and all that fun stuff, I love Gardy. I'll always have a soft spot for him for obvious reasons because he's been with us forever, but it's time to let the newer guys show up. And you could probably use that argument for Mike Ford. Sure. I can somewhat get the lefty power bat. I'm not saying Ford is a bad player. Ford is excellent. Like, if I go to Fangraphs right now, I would do it for the Ford lovers because I know there are some Ford lovers, and I love Ford too. Ford, 163 plate appearances. Yeah, it's not the biggest thing, but he still was a .8 WAR player, 134 WRC plus, 372 WOBA. That's nothing to scratch about. I mean, the guy has potential. I'm not saying he doesn't have potential, but Luke Voit at this point, I think, has a higher ceiling than he does. And I think the thing that a lot of people seem to forget about in terms of Luke Voit and how good Luke is I will give you, especially after today, because Luke Voit booted what should have been a routine play. But the thing is, Ford also himself, with all due respect, isn't great. So between Voit and Ford for defense, they're both pretty bad. They're not good. We already know this. But the thing that counts is people forget that Voit, in terms of 500 plate appearances, and that's a good sample size. Like, that is a good enough sample size to judge. In 500 plate appearances last season, he actually had a higher on-base percentage than DJ LeMahieu. And we know how much DJ LeMahieu hits. And I actually had this discussion with a few other people. I know I had it on the podcast the other day and asked John about the question. But will it happen? Probably not. Maybe once or twice a game. I know they had him leading off last year against the White Sox, and we mentioned that with him going swinging on the first pitch on Giolito, fastball right down the middle, knocks it to center field like 450 feet, like a absolute mammoth of a home run. Is Luke Voit. I would not be opposed to have Luke Voit in the starting lineup as the leadoff hitter. And I don't know how you guys would feel it. I'd actually like to know what you guys think about that. if that's an option. I'm not going to cry and I'm not going to weep and be disappointed if he's never in the leadoff spot. But I like having the guy who gets on base the most at the leadoff spot. And I wouldn't be opposed to having DJ somewhere around the third or fourth spot for cleanup, because DJ is going to hit. He's going to get on base no matter what. And if we have runners in scoring position, I know RBIs and that kind of area of expertise, that area of focus is more random than not. But that's my point. DJ doesn't care. If there's bases loaded, he's going to get on base. If there's nobody on base, he's going to get on base. So I think DJ should be in that spot where it gives him more opportunities to be able to drive in runners. And this is what I think is incredible. DJ, being primarily basically a leadoff hitter all of last season, recorded 102 RBIs. 102 RBIs in a leadoff position. That is basically almost unheard of. The fact that he got that many opportunities just shows how good of a hitter he is. Now, I said, like, RBIs are kind of random in that situation. You know, it doesn't necessarily make you a better player than the guy next to you on your left or right. Although DJ, I will say, came up in numerous huge situations. And I would say he was definitely, probably in the sense of the production that he had, the best player on the Yankees last year. And I don't really think anyone will, you know, dispute that. Although I don't think DJ is the best player on the team. That's obviously Aaron Judge or Garrett Cole. I mean, I don't even really think that's up for debate. But in a sense of just how much production he got in the leadoff role makes me excited about the thought, the possibility of him being in a position in the 3-hole or, you know, the cleanup position. Because if people are on base and they're in scoring position, most of the time, more often than not, it seemed like DJ last year was going to knock them in. And that just excites me. So what would you guys think? Like, I actually want to know what you would do. Like, would you be opposed to having a situation, or at least trying it out for a game, like trying it out, seeing what happens? If it doesn't work, you can go back to the basic old lineup. You know, it's not going to hurt. I mean, regardless, this lineup is ridiculous, you know, basically not equivalent to Murderer's Row, but I would call them the Death Star. They are ridiculous. They're going to score and they're going to get things done no matter what. You know, like for today, Corbin was dominating all game long. But until Gleyber got him out, and then we got to that bullpen, that's the scary thing about this team. You do not want to get to the bullpen. You want your starters to go out there and pitch as well as humanly possible, because this is one of the best teams that I have ever seen in a sense that, at least in my lifetime, in a sense that they can get inside a pitcher's head and they can make you work counts. And that's the whole point. Like, they could not do a single thing against Corbin. But then they get to the bullpen and it's game over. And that's the point. And even really great, outstanding pitchers, like the first day, we got to Scherzer. Yeah, sure, Scherzer struck out 11, but we made it count when it needed to count. And that's what's really important. It's not necessarily, oh, we struck out 11 times to Max Scherzer in, 5 innings pitch. It's more the fact that when Scherzer made mistakes, we made him pay for it. And the difference between what happened against Scherzer compared to Corbin was Corbin was on. Corbin was not making any mistakes. Outside of that one mistake to Gleyber, he was basically perfect. He was indestructible. He was going basically like a Kyle Hendricks route, like he did with the Cubs on their debut on opening day. Kyle Hendricks went a full 9 innings. You know, he just pitched outstanding. That was one of the best games, if not the best game I've ever seen that man pitch. Outstanding. That was basically the level that Corbin was on, very close to that same level. And we know how good Corbin is. But that's basically the point. Like, this team can get to any pitcher. They can. Like, even when a pitcher is really good, they can. Now, this happened to be one of those days where the lineup just couldn't get anything done. But that's why I say you never give up on this team. You just can't give up. Like, I know so many people tweet on Twitter 27 outs, and that is so real with this team. There was no team that kind of mentality applies to more than the Yankees, because they will make you pay in a hurry, and they did that, you know. And they don't have to score 8-9 runs. That's not what I'm asking for them to do. I'm just asking for them to basically, when people make mistakes, when pitchers make mistakes, you make the most of it and you get the job done. And that's what the Yankees did today. They don't have to win every game 15-1. As much fun as that would be to have offensive powerhouse like the Twins have been doing, because I think at least out of the last 3 games the Twins have played, they've dropped 10 in 2 of those different games. So as much as it would be fun to, boast 10 runs every other game, I would much rather win and them just get the job done when it matters. So that's basically my rant. I will read chat. I have actually been very bad about reading chat, so I do apologize. I will definitely have to get better at that because I definitely am new at this. Astros are a government conspiracy. No comment. I will not comment on them. I'm honestly done with the whole cheating thing with the Astros. I've been one of those people that just okay, obviously I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. It's like the Black Sox scandal, but I'm not focused on it. I'd rather focus on this season. Ben, hey Yankees. Hey, what's up, Ben? Thank you for chilling in here and listening to my rants. Where do they keep the largest diamond in New York City? Yankee Stadium. Neuro, why hasn't baseball returned from COVID shutdown? They were unable to test the bat. Okay, you're just basically making a bunch of dumb puns. That's what you always do. You always do that at work. I actually work with him, by the way. So if you see Neuro in here, give him a hard time because I actually do work with him. Edwin Rodriguez, Guardy, a.k.a. Oh Faithful. Bro, Clint Frazier sent down. What about? I don't know. I see more in Clint Frazier than what most people see. And like I said, it's the whole bat speed thing. It's almost comparable to Bellinger, not in the sense that Clint Frazier is a better player than Bellinger, because that is not true in the slightest, but it's just in the sense of the potential that he has. It's kind of like, before Johnny Loizaga started pitching, I saw so much potential in him without even seeing him do anything. I saw the potential, and he honestly didn't pitch that bad. I was pretty happy with what he was able to do. Now, I know he struggled, especially in the first inning against Trey Turner. I think it was a 12-13 pitch at bat. It was a long at bat. I know he's got to do a little bit better job at putting those guys away. Although, to be fair, Trey Turner is an excellent player in the sense of trying to get on base, and he's quick. He's got good base running speed, and he's just got good mechanics all around. But other than that, Loizaga looked pretty good. His fastball looked sharp. He was around 99, almost 100. I don't think he reached 100 miles per hour, but I know he was borderline 99 miles per hour, which is definitely a good sign. He's got good stuff. I mean, he could have had, those first inning jitters, especially since it's the first time he's pitched in a Yankee uniform for 2020. So it could have been just nerves, the fact that it's his first game of the season, not an exhibition game and not a spring training game, but an actual real regular season game that counts. So I don't know. Could be it. DJ should have been ALCS MVP last year. I don't disagree. Basically, DJ, we have everything to thank for him. I don't think he's the best player on the team. Obviously, I think that's Judge. And then pitching-wise, that's Cole. Obviously, that's no-brainer. But DJ definitely was the best player last year just because he just produced so much. And I hope they extend the guy. I really do. I genuinely don't think he's one of those guys that is a product of Coors Field. As much as, he's been so much better at Yankee Stadium than any other place, I just don't think there's something else. There's something else going on in a sense of the launch angle and all of that he's adjusted to, because before he got to Yankee Stadium, before he went to New York, he was all just about get on base. And then he came to New York and they were like, oh, let's adjust his launch angle, because now we're in a spot with a guy that he doesn't have much power, but we have that short porch, and he can be able to lob home runs over there left and right. And it's done wonders. I mean, DJ LeMahieu, compared to the rest of his career, from making his debut with the Cubs in 2011 to his rookie season, 2012, the Rockies, till he got to the Yankees in 2019, he's never had a single season that was even close to identical. The closest season was 2016, where he dropped a 391 WOBA, 130 WRC, 4.4 F4 player, which is still really good. But you also have to keep in effect that was Coors Field. And pretty much the only negative thing about DJ is he could definitely walk more, but because of his on-base percentage, in the sense that he gets on base through hits and he never strikes out, I'm honestly fine with him having a 7% walk rate last year. It's not terrible by any means, but my point is he's so good he could definitely walk more. But, I mean, the guy had a 375 on-base percentage last year. You really can't complain about that. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. He's such a good player in a sense of getting on base. Amen. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you for tuning in, man. It means a lot to me. Neuro for 23 minutes. I thought we were talking about volleyball. Of course not. I don't know a dang thing about volleyball. So if you want to talk about volleyball, this is definitely not the place to do it. So I guess that would probably put us at what I wanted to talk about last, but not certainly least. There has been a ton of injuries, a lot of injuries. Made a tweet about it earlier. Basically, this season has been very odd, not just because of coronavirus, but because there have been a ton of injuries. And also, I know like Juan Soto is out for COVID. I don't know if that was actually I don't know if I heard this correctly, but I think there might have been like not a malfunction. I'm trying to think of the word that I'm trying to use here. Basically, they test him for COVID and they thought he was positive, and then I think it turns out that Juan Soto isn't positive. He might be negative, so I don't know. But still, he's been out. In terms of pitchers, there has been a lot. Corey Kluber had an issue. I was actually trying to look for that earlier. There has been no report, at least by my knowledge, unless you guys can find it somewhere. I couldn't find it anywhere. I literally searched up Corey Kluber in the chat just to see what would happen. But I didn't see anything in the sense of what happened to him. I know he got pulled out in the first inning against the Rockies. Don't know why. Kershaw's out. I think something's wrong with his elbow, I want to say. Strasburg's out. Stroman's out. Noah, Syndergaard, Thor's out. We already know about Sale and his issues with Tommy John. Verlander's that's the big one. That is the really big one, which is kind of confusing because I think there's been a lot of misinformation because I was reading that Verlander was supposed to be out for the entire season. And now I'm hearing that Verlander is only out for 2 weeks. So I'm like, is he out for the whole season or is he out for 2 weeks? Now, regardless, because of the shortened season, that's still going to affect the Astros. But if he's out for the rest of the season, that is huge. That is very bad. Very, very, very bad. And I am not happy about it one bit because I don't cheer for injuries. That's dumb. I don't like that. I don't get people that actually cheer for injuries. Doesn't matter if the Astros cheated or not. I will never cheer for someone getting injured. That's dumb. I don't like that. It's pretty disrespectful, if anything. But I do hope nothing but for the best for Verlander, although I don't like Verlander in the sense that I think he has a bit of an ego problem, especially with trying to choose what reporters that he's talking to. I know they had that problem last year, I want to say, in Detroit. But I mean, that doesn't warrant him getting injured. Like nobody deserves to get injured. That's dumb. But that's going to be huge. Like if he is out for a whole season, that's going to be bad because Greinke actually was struggling today. I don't know exactly what his outing was. That's why I'm going to look it up right now because, I love baseball, but I'm also not, I also am not a human dictionary where I process every bit of information and can keep that information for long bits of time. Greinke went 3.1 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Yeah, Greinke wasn't even pitched. And that's the one thing I wonder. And if I would like to talk to an Astros fan about this and genuinely get their perspective, have a full on discussion about what I think about this, is that in a sense of Verlander being shut down for either 2 weeks or the whole season, I'm not entirely sure because of the misinformation. And also the fact that Greinke was struggling is the fact that Greinke is getting older. Obviously, Verlander is getting older. Is Verlander going to start having issues to the point of his career because of his age? Is his health going to start down spiraling? Is he going to start having issues with his health? Struggling to stay healthy? And Greinke is only getting older too. So I genuinely like to know from some Astros fans what they think about the situation because of the massive contract that they signed to Greinke. And like I said, he's only going to get older. And then Verlander is only getting older too. And we don't know. I mean, for all we know, Verlander could come back 2 weeks later and be just fine and then come back next year and be completely fine. And we're not even having this discussion because Verlander, he's not using his fastball anymore. He's more of a finesse pitcher now. He used to be all about his fastball. Now he's more about finessing you with a slider. And he's so damn good at it too. He is ridiculously good. He's literally Picasso. I mean, he just paints art, but not on a canvas or a piece of paper or something like that. But he paints his emotion, he paints what he's doing and his, just on the baseball diamond, like he is just such an artist when it comes to that. And that's one thing I cannot, like, I may not like the guy in sense, like I said, I think he kind of might have like a little bit of an ego problem. And I don't think that players should pick and choose, like in a sense of, I want to talk to this certain reporter, or I don't like this reporter because he or she or whatever said so. I think that's just kind of like first grader stuff. But the guy is good. He's going to be a Hall of Fame pitcher. I mean, I know he pitched a no-hitter last year, I want to say, against the Toronto Blue Jays. Verlander is one of the best pitchers I've seen in my lifetime. I mean, he's almost as good as it gets. I mean, he's not Randy Johnson or anything, but he's elite. Definitely elite of a pitcher, like without a doubt. But that would be an interesting situation to see if Verlander comes back strong, or if he starts having issues after this with his health, or what happens with Greinke if Greinke bounces back, or the whole situation. I know Greinke's healthy. There's nothing concerning about his health, but it's more about, well, Greinke is getting older and that contract, and then Verlander, and then the Astros are struggling with a pretty young bullpen right now, and it's just like there's a lot of uncertainty as far as their pitching is concerned. Their offense, there's no concern. That offense is dumb. Like, even without the cameras and all of that, like, all jokes aside, the Astros are going to be maybe not as dominant for obvious reasons, but they're still going to be one of the best teams in the league. I still expect them to win the AL West. I still expect them to go deep in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to go – I don't think they're either going to go to the World Series or they're going to go to the ALCS. I don't see them being a wild card team. And I don't see them not getting past advancing from the ALDS to the ALCS. I just don't see it. They're too good of a team. And the reason I say that is, even before all the cheating scandal happened, Altuve was already an outstanding hitter. Springer was already an outstanding hitter. Bregman in 2016 had a lot of promise, and he already has a lot of promise. You have Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley is an absolute stud. He's like DJ LeMahieu. He's just going to get on base. He just hits. He does it all. He's a good, solid defender in outfield. As we saw from World Series last year. I don't want to give you guys flashbacks, but he is a pretty great defender. But I don't know. The Astros just don't have anything to worry about. So as far as their offense is concerned, it's dumb. Their offense is going to be fine. They don't need to worry about that. Let me read some more comments. World Series predictions. I would like to see Yankees and Dodgers. I wanted to see that last year. I didn't get to see it, which made me super sad face. But it is what it is. The Yankees, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with, not getting a pitcher at the trade deadline. Now they have that pitcher in Cole. So I'm hoping that's not an issue going into the postseason this year. Especially got Masahiro Tanaka. I mean, it's weird. Tanaka is one of those guys. It's just like, well, he could go this way or it could go this way. But when it comes to the postseason, he's lights out. And it's just, he's so focused. And like that's the one thing I'm like, please keep Masahiro for as long as possible, because it seems like it's almost a guaranteed win every time he steps on the mound in October. And I don't know why that is. It's just the nerves, they just don't bother him. He's literally tough as nails in the postseason. And I'm glad that we have him, and I'm glad that he's looking better too. And as well as Luis Cessa is looking good too. So that's definitely a positive. But I would like to see Yankees and Dodgers. How realistic is that? I don't know. We'll see. It all depends on the Yankees pitching. And it also all depends on if the Dodgers choke again, because it just seems like the Dodgers just can't get anything done. They get to the World Series and they choke, or last year they couldn't even get past the Nationals, which, no disrespect to the Nationals, great team, but Dodgers hardcore choked. Like, there's no beating around the bush with that. Dodgers had the best team. They've had the best team for like the last 3 years. So it's like, I don't know what happened to them, but I would like to expect that it would be Yankees, Dodgers, but I don't know. It could be Astros, Dodgers again. I think the Astros are a good team. I don't want to sleep on the Twins. I know a lot of people make jokes about the Yankees and the Twins. I know the Twins are basically our kryptonite, or the Yankees are the Twins' kryptonite, but man, the Twins have such a powerful lineup. Their lineup is disgusting. Like, they have so many power hitters. Nelson Cruz just hit 3 home runs today. And I'm pretty sure the last time he did that was against the White Sox. And, well, he did it against the White Sox today too. So that lineup is just filthy. Most barrels for last year, most home runs. I want to say they recorded the most RBIs as a team too. It's like that team just gets it done. And what's going to be interesting, and the thing that we're all asking ourselves, and as well as Twins fans more than anything else, is they can do it in the regular season, but can they be that scary lineup that they can in the postseason? I don't know. Only time will tell. We'll see. Maybe this year will change. Nationals finally got a World Series ring for their organization, so anything's possible. Let's see. Reading chat. I think Verlander might be getting Tommy John. I really hope not, man. I mean, like I said, I've stated my opinions about Verlander, but nobody deserves to go through that. Everybody deserves to go out there and compete. If they love the game of baseball and they thoroughly there to compete and to win a World Series championship for their team, they deserve it. Everybody deserves to at least have a chance. Only time we, the Yanks, have a healthy full roster, we should kill and bring it home this year. No excuse. I hope so, man. I really do. Last year, I think we had a good enough team. The only thing that was killing us was the pitching. Our bullpen is fantastic. Second best bullpen in the league behind the Rays. And now we got Cole. And we already know Masahiro Tanaka. I mean, I'm not even going to expect anything less than he's going to win every game. He's going to go out there in the postseason and give up 1-2 earned runs because he's just been that good in the postseason. So I don't really have to worry about him. I'm interested in J-Hap. I think J-Hap is supposed to pitch tomorrow against the Phillies. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that, but I think he's supposed to pitch tomorrow against the Phillies. And he looked good he looked good in spring training. So we'll see about him. Montgomery looked incredible in spring training as well as that exhibition game against the Mets. Loaizaga looked great in spring training. He was probably the most exciting piece in the whole spring training. And he looked good. He did what he needed to do today. And that's all I can ask for from him. 3 innings, only giving up 1 run. That's good enough for me. So I know I'm missing. Sevy's out. That kind of sucks. And I don't really know how to feel about that because I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be that big of a deal in a sense of we can't get past that ALCS hump and get to the World Series. And we can't get past that hump of our pitchers being consistent. But I would like to think that now that we have Cole and we still have the same bullpen that we do, and Jonathan is ready, if J-Hat, brings it back like he did from spring training, if he's good to go, I think we have really good chances. I honestly like our chances this year better than last year, just because of the whole injury bug and, the pitchers. And we got Cole. Cole Train, Cole World, he is big. He's going to help us big. So I don't know. I really don't know. The one thing that I do hope for, and I don't probably have to predict this because it's probably going to happen more than often, but we are at least with the new expanded, playoff rule, we're going to have a outstanding postseason. This postseason is going to be wacky, very wacky. I don't even know what's going to happen. The Tigers and the Orioles and the Marlins are all 2-1. So, any of these teams could just somehow make the postseason. I just really don't know what's going to happen. The Red Sox they're 1-2 right now, which, we talk about the Red Sox. Their pitching is yikes, big yikes. That's not just because I'm a Yankees fan, generally big yikes. They are in a tough predicament. And they are going to have a long season ahead of them. But any of these teams, this is one of those seasons you really can't count anyone out. You just can't. I'm not even going to make a full-on prediction on all the teams that are going to make it because at this point, who knows? The Marlins, the Marlins are better than what people are giving them credit for. They could make the playoffs. Who knows? I think it would be awesome. I would love to see the Orioles and Tigers and Marlins make the playoffs in a sense of get some different teams in the playoffs. I think I don't necessarily agree with the rule because the one thing I love about baseball is the postseason is usually more exclusive than let's say the NFL playoffs or the NBA playoffs, especially. But it doesn't hurt to try. If it doesn't work out, go back to the old system. I'm not reluctant to try this, so it is what it is. I think Max is better than Verlander. Yeah, Max is definitely better. Max is the 3rd best pitcher in this last decade. Max, I think I said this earlier, I think since 2016, so like the last 4 years, 4 seasons or whatever, he's been the best pitcher without a doubt. I will actually look that up so I don't get this because I don't want to spread misinformation. I do know that Max's elite levels are good. We do know that much, but I would like to actually know how long he's been the best pitcher for if we're going through specific years. Chris Sale, 2014. I'm gonna keep going. So right now, from 2014 to 2019, Scherzer has been the best pitcher. 2013 to 2019. I would like to think for 2012 it's going to be Kershaw, though. It's still not. Oh, it's close. It's got to be 2011. 2011 through 2019 has got to be the period of the Kershaw. Yeah, so from 2012 to 2019, Max Scherzer has been the best pitcher. So I completely overshot that. I said 2016 through 2019. He's been the best pitcher pretty much, if you didn't count 2010, for the last decade, outside of Kershaw. And we all know how good Kershaw is. So, yes, Max is definitely better than Verlander. But Verlander is still outstanding because if I'm looking at the last decade from 2011 to 2019, Verlander was the third best pitcher in terms at all from Scherzer. But also Scherzer pitched less innings than Verlander. So that's also a plus, and that also, helps Scherzer out a lot. Let me read some more comments. We got Cole. We need Paxton to bounce back. His velo is low. Yeah, like I said, I was at work. I got to catch it here and there. But I did notice that Paxton didn't have his good stuff. I know after a press conference, he said his fastball wasn't there and his knuckle curve wasn't there. And I've noticed that if his knuckle curve and his fastball aren't on, he's going to be lost. He's going to look bad. But the thing is, if his knuckle curve and his fastball are on, he's locating those spots down, especially his knuckle curve, low and away or low and down in the dirt. He's good. He is very good. I'm maybe not elite levels of good, but almost up there. I'm not going to say he's like a Scherzer or a Kershaw, but Paxton has the potential to be so much better than what people understand about him. But he's got to have those pitches working. If he doesn't have those pitches working, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And quite frankly, that's pretty much the story for everybody in the entire league. If you can't get it done, then your skills and attributes and abilities only can take you so far in a sense of how good you actually are. We have to see it and you have to prove it on the field. Good example is Greg Bird. Greg Bird was basically predicted to be a pretty solid, lefty power bat. And that was just not good. I still have faith in Greg Bird, but he's definitely not what he was predicted to be. That's for sure. He's predicted to be a lot better than what we all thought. And I can definitely tell you that most Yankee fans are glad that he's gone. I would much rather have Luke Voit over Greg Bird any day of the week. That's not even up for debate. But there's that. You guys can tell me what you think about that. Unless you guys are some Greg Bird lovers, then we can have a discussion about that. Why are you so confident in the Yankees offense? The 3 middle games at ALCS, they had a really hard time hitting. That is true. I will give you that. They struggled massively, especially in Encarnacion. As much as I love Encarnacion, as much as I hate that he's in a White Sox uniform, they just outright didn't play well. And just to add more to your point, I will actually go back to the 2019 postseason and go through some of those games just to clarify how bad the Yankees actually were in those games. So let's see. This is definitely a blast from the past, something that I didn't wish to relive, but I'm going to anyways for the viewers and for the discussion. Yeah. Encarnacion couldn't do anything other than walked. Actually, Didi Gregorius did the best in game. What was it? Yeah, game 6. Sorry, not game 5. Completely apologize for that. Gio Urshela was the best game at game 6. He actually had a really solid game. But I will say, I think the pitching definitely helps because you're not doing yourself any favors when you give the Astros 8 runs. And you have to think, we played that Astro team that had a rotation of Greinke, Cole, and Verlander. And that's just ridiculous. That's dumb. That is like considered like one of the best rotations in baseball. You have Kershaw, and then you have Max Scherzer, Patrick Corbin, and then you have Steven Strasburg, which is obviously one of the better rotations in the league. And then the Dodgers pitching. I just wanted to make sure that I have this right because there's one guy that I can't think of that I think is super underrated. You have Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler is insane. He's ridiculous. And I'm not going to say it. Dustin May actually looks really good. But in terms of like last year, you had Kershaw, you had Walker Buehler, and you had Hinshin Ryu. And I know Ryu's not an overpowering guy, but he got the job done, and that's all that matters. Hinshin Ryu was very, very good last year. He's more like a ground ball type of pitcher. But, I mean, as long as you got a good defense, you're going to win games by doing that. So you got to also think about the pitching. Our pitching did not do us injustice. Yes, the offense was pretty bad at points. Outside of game 1, the offense didn't really do too much. I mean, at least game 5. But game 5 was pretty much an Aaron Hicks game because of that 3-run homer. I want to say off the right field foul pole. That's pretty much the entire offense. So why do I feel confident? Well, we have Cole. I think that adds a lot of confidence. I think that given another opportunity, we can get things done. We showed that against the Twins. I know it's the Twins, but this team is better than what people think they are, And that's the thing that I was talking about. Corbin was excellent. But as long as we get the job done at the end of the day and we win the game, even if it's a close 3-2 game, 4-2, 8-9, whatever, as long as we win the game, or as long as the Yankees win the game, that's all that matters. I don't care if they win 10-0. I don't care if they win 1-0. I just want them to win the game. That's all that matters to me. So I guess, I might have maybe a little too much confidence in the Yankees. I might be a little biased, but I definitely have a lot of faith and confidence, and I just don't see them having struggles like they did last year. So I think in regards to Big Maple's performance yesterday, he must have been nervous. It could be. It could be kind of maybe like, Cole, even though Cole didn't pitch bad at all. Cole definitely could pitch 110% better than what he did. But in terms of, pitch performance, and I think Cole did fine. And when you have a fastball as good as his, you can get away with mistakes like that. I don't think a lot of people understand that with his type of fastball, the amount of vertical and horizontal movement it has on it, you can get away with a lot. And that just happened to be, you don't want to do that. You don't want to live on the edgy side of life like that, the dangerous side of life. But also Cole was like, I'm just, proud to be a Yankee finally. It was his childhood dream. He admitted he had some nerves. He was shaky. Cole will be fine. Cole's going to be outstanding this year, but it could be nerves. I'm not entirely sure. It could be because I think it might be because, like he said, his fastball and his knuckle curve just weren't working for him. They just weren't on target. He wasn't getting the best quality out of those pitches. So it is what it is. But I don't have I basically still have like faith and confidence in Paxton for sure. I'm not giving up on him, obviously. I mean, he's my favorite player. I'm never going to give up on Paxton. So fastball was sitting at 92, 93. Yeah, it definitely could be his velo. It could be a combination of velo and his command, and he's just not hitting the spots, And if it was his velo too, that's not going to help his case. So if all of those things were just not on, he's not going to pitch well. Point blank and simple. Whatever it is, I agree he needs to bounce back. Let's go Yanks. I know it was his first game, but definitely Paxton needs to step it up without Sevy. Definitely. I don't disagree with anything that you guys are saying about Paxton. I mean, he needs to be better. He needs to step it up. But the good thing is it's only one game. And that's what I was talking about earlier in the podcast at the beginning when I was talking about Gleyber Torres, where I was talking about Christian Yelich, Cody Bellinger, Ronald Acuna, all these guys, especially Yelich. The only thing Yelich has done in the last 3 games is hit 1 home run. I don't think he's got a base hit outside of that 1 home run. So he's definitely off to a slow start, but it's been 3 games, and that's the beauty of it. Paxton has got plenty of time to prove his worth, and I think he will. I have a lot of confidence. And if he doesn't, then I'll take the blame for that and admit I was wrong. I have no problem admitting I was wrong. So Let's see. Clark Schmidt needs to come up. I definitely agree. Clark Schmidt has got really, really good stuff. I do like Devi Garcia a lot. I know Garcia, one of the exhibition games against the Phillies. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was just jitters. And you also have to think Devi Garcia is young. That's his first time ever pitching in Yankee Stadium. It's just the jitters. Everybody gets them. So unless you're Mike Trout, you don't get jitters unless you're Mike Trout. You're just literally the best player in baseball. But I think Devi Garcia will be fine. I'm not worried about him. Clark Schmidt is going to be incredible. I have a lot of faith and confidence. He's a big guy. He's got powerful pitch. He's got powerful command. He was outstanding. I know it was Trenton Thunder's only 19 innings, but he was outstanding. He's got a lot of potential. I like Clark Schmidt. He's got a lot of really good stuff. He's got good potential. And in general, I like basically, I just like our hopes and chances, the amount of production that could come out of our not bullpen, but our farm system. There's a lot to look forward to in the sense of young guys. And that's not even talking about, Dominguez. There's that, the guy that a lot of people are comparing to the next Mike Trout, which I think is a little too soon, but there's a lot to look forward to in the sense of our farm system, especially the triple A. We've got Clint Frazier. We also have Mike Ford. There's a lot of good players, a lot of things to look up to. So definitely a lot to get excited for in the future, not just for the Rays, but for us too, because the AL East is pretty damn competitive, especially with the Rays. The Rays farm system is just pumping out player after player after player. Blue Jays got a lot of interesting prospects and a lot of potential too. And, then there's the Red Sox who are struggling with pitching right now. We won't talk about them. And then the Orioles are 2-1. So there's that too. Bird never lived up to his potential. I can't speak today. As of right now, Voit was a steal. Definitely. I will definitely say, what was that? The Luke Voit trade. The Luke Voit trade. I remember when that happened, but I cannot remember who we gave up. And I should know who gave up for him. I know it was Chasen Shreve, but Giovanni Gallegos. That guy, Giovanni, man, I really wish we could have kept him. He is a very, very solid reliever, and the Cardinals got a good deal out of him. Like, I know, they had to get rid of Voit to get him and Chasen Shreve, but man, he is a solid figure to have in your bullpen. The Cardinals needed a guy like him, and now they have it. And, wish nothing but the best for the Cardinals, because pretty much my entire family, outside of me and like 2 other people, everybody in my family is Cardinals fan. So I kind of have like this little soft spot for the Cardinals just so my family's happy. So there's that. But he is a very, very good reliever. But I'm still happy we got Voit. Very, very happy. Voit is one of my favorite guys, and a lot of people like to crap on him, but he's better than what people think. Cole's an ace for real. Even when they don't have their best game, they still get the job done, like you said. For sure, man. Cole is real deal. And just to show you, even though I don't need to, last year, 212 innings, 2.50 ERA, 2.64 FIP, 7.4 WAR player, 326 strikeouts. Guy was lights out. There was hardly a game where he wasn't constantly pounding the strike zone, and he's one of those guys that's not afraid to go after you. So, God, Cole, it's honestly so insane to think that we have Garrett Cole. Like, even now that Garrett Cole has pitched in a spring training game and he's done some summer camps and such like that, and now even after he's pitched and made his major league debut with the Yankees, not major league debut, obviously, but you guys know what I mean. Like, the first game he's actually pitched in a pinstripe uniform, it still just doesn't feel real. Like, having a top-notch ace like him just doesn't feel real. We haven't had a pitcher as good as him in a while, and it feels so great to have a solid pitcher that I know I can trust to get the job done. It's such a nice feeling. You think the Yankees will resign Paxton or Tanaka? I hope they resign both of them, simply because of the fact that I'm one of the few people as far as the analytical department people are concerned, the people who love analytics, I am one of the few people that I would keep Tanaka just in the sense that he is good in the postseason. Now, a lot of people are like, that's dumb. Well, like, for example, Kershaw. You would want Kershaw in your lineup. Now, a lot of people are like, I don't want Kershaw because he chokes the postseason. But it's like, no, he's literally one of the best regular season pitchers. Like, if not the best regular season pitcher that is currently still in a major league uniform right now. Like, Kershaw is like, I mean, if not, he's the second best. He's definitely the first or second best regular season pitcher in his career. So you definitely want a guy like that, but I don't know. Like, in a sense of just how good he is in the postseason, that would be why I'd want to sign Tanaka. And the good thing about Tanaka, and I can have some information just to back this up because I like to provide you guys with information so you know what I'm talking about. The good thing about Tanaka is he's going to stay consistent. I mean, he's going to try and pitch a lot of innings for you. I mean, even with the injuries last year, he still pitched 182 innings, and that was enough to get us through the season. Like 2016, 199, 2017, 178. I mean, he's going to eat up innings, and he's going to get through the season for you. So that's the one thing I like about Tanaka. With Paxton, I hope so. Not only because Paxton's my favorite player, but I think Paxton has more skill and potential than people realize, especially if you watched him when he was a Mariner. He was very, very, very good as a Mariner, especially in 2017, where he pitched 136 innings, 2.98 ERA, 4.4 win player. 2018 at the Mariners, 160 innings, 3.76 ERA. 2017, 3.79 ERA. I mean, he had some really, really solid seasons with Mariners. Now, that's not like a Garrett Cole season or anything. Obviously not. I'm not saying Paxton's an ace, even though, I mean, you could make the argument, I suppose. I think he's a number 2, but Paxton has good stuff. I hope we sign him. I mean, the guy he's 31 years old. We can get a lot more out of him. He's got more to offer, and I like guys like Bumgarner. I mean, Bumgarner at his age, he should be in his prime right now. So Paxton's around that same age, requirement of, being in his prime. So I don't think he's shown us what he really has. Like, even his really great solid season 2017 where he had like a 2.98 ERA, I think he's better than that. I think he can show more than that. And I hope he does. And if he doesn't, then again, like I said earlier, I will admit flat out that I was wrong, but I have a lot of faith and confidence in Paxton. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's about all I wanted to talk about today. I know I kind of rambled. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I am awful when it comes to like rambling. Like, I will jump from target to target to target to target to target. Like, I'm really bad about that. I'm definitely gonna have to learn like how to just go from point A to point B instead of point A to point Z to point B to point Y. Like, there's no like correlation or structure in it. But I can at least give you guys some solid rants and give you guys, I love stats. I'm going to provide you guys with that. I don't want to try and spread out misinformation. That's why I'm glad I went back over and was like, oh, well, actually, Max Scherzer has been the best since 2011. So I thought it was only 2016 for some odd reason. As much as I look up stats, that's kind of a cardinal sin that I got that wrong. But, it is what it is. I want to get the information right. So what do you think about there being no fans for postseason games? Just no way it will be the same. Man, I would really like for there to be fans this season, but I understand. A lot of people kind of have their own beliefs on coronavirus, and I don't really want to talk about it so much because I don't want to get into those types of arguments. I'd rather argue about who's better between Cole or DeGrom or something like that, not over political or health things like that, because it's not really my level of expertise, to be honest with you. But I would like to hope people would come to the stands during postseason games. But if not, then I understand. I get it. It is what it is. And, we can only do so much. But initial thought, yes, I do hope that there are fans. But do I think there will be fans? I don't know. I have no idea. At this rate, probably. Honestly, if I had to guess, at this rate, probably not. Unfortunately, as much as I would like to go to a game, because I was supposed to go to a lot of games this summer, including a 3-game series the Yankees were supposed to have in St. Louis with the Cardinals. Didn't get to go to that, which is very, very unfortunate because, like I said earlier, most of my family are Cardinals fans. And the Cardinals and Yankees only play each other once every 3 years, and it's not guaranteed if they don't use the schedule that they were supposed to use for 2021 that the next time the Cardinals and Yankees play, that it will be in St. Louis, because I also don't live in New York. I am from Oklahoma. So, I mean, if I had to get it done, I would fly up to New York for those series, but it would just be so much easier if they came down and played in St. Louis. But yeah, that's about it. If there's any other questions you guys have, I will definitely answer them to the best of my abilities, because that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I just want to talk about the injuries across the league, how it's just not good for baseball, not good at all. You don't want to see a lot of these really solid ace number 2 pitchers, number 3 pitchers being out. A lot of exciting players are out because of injuries. I hate to say it, but I mean, even though he's a Red Sox, Chris Sale is an exciting player to watch. He's a very, very good baseball pitcher. Even though he had an off season last year, he's still a very, very good pitcher. It will be interesting to see how he bounces back from his Tommy John surgery. You could argue that with some other players too, especially Corey Gleyber, who only pitched 1 inning, was immediately pulled out of the game. Who knows about that? But, it is what it is. I just hope for a good 2020 season, and I hope these guys all get healthy. I hope Verlander gets healthy. I hope Gleyber is okay. I don't know any news on him. There's still nothing about him. And pretty much anybody else, even if they're not a pitcher, I just hope everyone, can get back to health and we can get back to basics and have everybody at their full strength. Because baseball is at its best when everybody is at its full strength. And I don't think anyone's going to argue that. That's why, whenever the Nationals announced before opening day that Juan Soto apparently had corona, I was let down. I was big time let down. I wasn't thinking, oh, well, at least he's not in the lineup because, we won't have to deal with him now. And I'm like, no, I want him to play because he's good for baseball. And you don't want to see a great, outstanding player such as Juan Soto not playing. You want him to be one of the faces of baseball. You want Acuna, you want Yelich, you want Bellinger, you want Trout, you want all these guys to play. You don't want any of them to be out. It doesn't matter if you like a team that is that team's rival, you want them to be there. It's like JD Martinez. I don't want JD Martinez to be out because he's good for baseball. He needs to be playing. And the point is he is playing, he is healthy, but the point is if JD Martinez was injured, I'd hope nothing but a speedy recovery for him because he's good for baseball and he needs to play. And it makes baseball at its peak if you have everybody's full powerhouse and if you have a team at its full capacity, as good as they possibly can get. That's when baseball really does wonders, and that's when it's at its best. So that will probably be my closing argument. If you guys did enjoy the live stream, I will actually upload this for a lot of people that didn't see the stream, because I like to do the streams and then I like to upload it shortly after for people who didn't see it. But that's about it. I do appreciate everybody coming out. It means the world to me. I will be trying to do these podcasts, like I've said in the other 2 podcasts, every day, if not every other day. I was hoping to do it with my co-host today, but he's currently working and there was a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about. So I decided just to do it on my own. And I will have a few other guests. I just talked to 2 people in DMs tonight. I was actually trying to get one of them to come on the podcast earlier, but he was busy, which is okay. But I will definitely get him and another person and probably just explore my options. Now, John, he'll definitely be the main co-host without a doubt, but I would definitely occasionally every now and then, just because of John's schedule and my schedule, sometimes it doesn't work out the way we want it to. We'll definitely be having a lot more guests and we'll be having a lot more perspectives because I want to get a bunch of perspectives. I don't just want to get mine and John's. I would like to get a bunch of other people's perspectives, and I like to have discussions with a bunch of different people and, see the way that they think and see how they perceive certain situations and scenarios. So that's about it. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Definitely enjoy the rest of your night. I will be enjoying the rest of my night watching the Dodgers and Giants play. And I know the Mets are playing right now, which I don't really know how I feel about that because a lot of people are mocking them again. Who knows? Oh, my Lord. It is 10-1. Good Lord. Okay, so that is why the Mets are getting mocked right now. The Mets are like one of those teams that are like, they're like the best, worst team, if that makes any sense. I want to see the pitching stats. Oh, my Rick Porcello is, wow. 2 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks. Wow, Mets. I hope you really liked that trade. I hope that trade was worth it. Wow. That just kind of hit me like a ton of brick. I really don't even know what to say after that. Like, I really hope that contract on Rick Porcello was worth it. The Mets haven't done anything outside of Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto needs to get off that team. He's such an underrated player. Acuna, Albies, Freddie Freeman. I love Freddie Freeman. Boy, that's bad. That is very bad. I didn't realize why people were making fun of them, but I can realize why now. Wow, that's bad. But I guess I'll probably be catching most of the end of this game just to see what's going on with that. And then I'm going to catch the Giants and Dodgers game because that's the last game of the night. I really do like watching the Dodgers. Their lineup is just absurd. I mean, Bellinger's ridiculous in itself. And there you have Betts and all those other players. That's about it, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy my rambling. And definitely be on the lookout for a podcast tomorrow or the next day. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night.